Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday with Prowess going live. Y'all, I say this every week, but it is true. Like, one best thing about my job is I get to meet all of these experts in all different aspects of businesses. And as soon as they say something, that I'm like, oh, tell me more. And then I get to continue to ask them questions. And then I'm like, I have hundreds of online business managers who would really like to hear this. Can you please come on our live stream and please record this and send them out to all of them? So anyway, it's just so great that I get to interview these amazing business experts every single week. I'm just so grateful for it. So, hello everyone, Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project, and today we are talking about how you can close 3 clients in 30 days by leveraging networking. I know I barely believed that when I saw it. So I'm really excited to hear what our guest has to say. But before we get started, as always, I want to make this two-way. Put into chat when I say the word networking, first word that came to mind. Put into chat. When I say networking, what's the first thing that comes to mind? LinkedIn. All right. All right. All right. Connecting. Awkward. It's good. I'm glad someone brought up the awkwardness because I'm definitely going to talk about that. How it can be just so freaking awkward. Icky is a lot of times, sometimes how I feel. Scary. That's also uncomfortable. Yeah, these are all good ones. These are all really good ones. Friends of friends. Awesome. So I'm hoping that we're going to walk away at the end of this. When we think of networking, we think of lucrative. That's what I'm hoping that we are going to walk away with at the end. So, with that said, I am so excited to bring up Sarah Klein. Welcome, welcome, welcome. She is a coach for creative entrepreneurs in the networking and offline marketing space. Sarah, we're so excited to have you.
I am so excited and honored to be here. Shout out to Mikhail for recommending that I get in touch with Prowess because as I was sharing with you, Ashley, backstage, you were totally a huge inspiration to me, like before I even started my coaching business. So this is like a very full circle moment for me, and I'm so honored and excited.
Y'all, or Sarah. It would be the first time that I cried on one of these, but thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So tell us, you teased like how you got started a little bit, but tell us, how did you get from starting to where you are today? Tell us what you do. Let's dive in.
Yes. Okay. So I am one of those people who is just entrepreneurial to my core. Like, you cannot turn it off. Like, there could be a nuclear war and I would still be like running some type of business somehow. Like, I just always will. I started my first business when I was 17. It was a travel blog about Los Angeles back when blogging was like this cool new technology. Everybody was like, what's WordPress? It was a very long time ago. And then when I was an undergrad, I started and ran a vegan hot chocolates brand online. Loved that. It also tasted great, so that's a bonus. Um, and then when I ended up going into corporate actually as a product designer in tech, and I moved to Austin as one does when you work in tech. And that is when on a fateful rainy night, I attended an event. Gosh, what was there was an all women's co-working
The
space.
Riveter.
The Riveter. Thank you. I went to an event at the Riveter on a rainy night, and you were on a panel speaking about like women founders. It was you, like Lori Falker Jones, and like some other people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember. I remember.
So I was in that audience, and I just remember looking at y'all, being like, oh, I gotta do that again. Like, I need to start a business again. So thank you, Ashley. You inspired me all those years ago without even knowing it. Um, and then I was like, well, let me just start with what I know. I'm a designer right now in corporate. Let me do design outside of corporate. So I started doing branding and design for startups, like very early stage startups. And I realized that these startups, they thought they wanted branding, but really they were doing branding a little too early. So then I kind of went more into business coaching. And then the rest is, well, actually, no, the rest is not history from there. But that's how I ended up pivoting into business coaching and building up my business coaching practice, where networking fell into it. And I don't know if any of y'all do this. I certainly do. I sometimes will try to get like too complicated and advanced too soon. And I feel like I really did that in my business when it came to all things content creation, copywriting, like funnels, all of this stuff.
Yep, yep,
Everybody
yep.
makes it seem very sexy and very important. And really, it's not. I mean, it is kind of sexy, but it's not that important and necessary. Like, especially when you're like, honestly, not even beginner business. Like, I would say so many businesses up until like the multiple six-figure levels as a service provider, you don't need any of that stuff. Um, and I was talking to one of my own coaches, and she was like, "Well, like Sarah, like tell me, like how do you tend to sign most of your clients?" And I was like, networking, as if I was like embarrassed or bummed that that was how. Excuse me. And she was like, Sarah, you do realize that that is something very unique and like something that a lot of people would love to learn how to do, like how to actually be able to monetize offline marketing, networking. Clarification, not network marketing. I sometimes have to clarify that. We don't talk about network. It's just literally networking as part of your marketing as an independent business owner. Like, people would love to learn how to do that. And everybody's talking all about content, 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 but you have something kind of new and different. And I was like, huh. So that is how I ended up realizing that I had a superpower that I could teach other people. And that superpower is now the core of what I teach my clients and my program, the creative selling game, which is 100% focused on how to network and use offline marketing and also online networking too. Like, you know, I saw some in the chat, some people talk about LinkedIn and things like that. So we do talk about some of that, specifically for creative entrepreneurs. So that's my story.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Shout out to the Riveter. That had to have been 5 years ago. Like,
Yes,
wow,
it was.
amazing, amazing, amazing. So I heard this a long time ago, and I love it. When everyone zigs, you zag, and that's what I love about your expertise. Everyone is all over online, online, online. Like, put out content, and your expertise is offline. And that's really, really refreshing. And why I think that's super important for this audience specifically, and I say this all the time, these are all aspiring OBMs or current OBMs. They need tops 4 clients, maybe
Yeah.
less. They don't need 400,000, right? So I'm so excited to get into the meat of networking because it could be a very easy way to drum up clients. So that
Hmm.
being said, I'm not going to bury the lead here. Tell us, girlfriend, how do we close 3 clients in 30 days by leveraging networking?
Okay, I'm so excited because also this is going to go against what I'm sure so many of y'all listening think you have to do. So excited. Okay, so if you've ever gone to a salsa dance class, which happens to be where I met my fiance, you have probably had the experience of being like the follow in salsa. If anybody's done that, you could put in the comments being like, yes, I've done salsa, like I've done that. Yes, I know what that means. But for those of you who haven't, like when you're doing a partner ballroom dance like salsa, somebody is leading you around the dance floor. And then usually if you're the female in the couple, like you are going to be the follow, which means you are simply responding to the push and pull and the energy of the lead. Actually, my husband gets annoyed because I try to lead. Shocker. Yeah, my fiance gets mad at me too. But the number one thing you need to know that you can learn from salsa that applies to this: be the follow, not the lead. So, what does that mean? That means I want you to go to networking events over the next 30 days, commit to going to say 3 a week. Because I always tell my own clients, I'm like, what else are you doing? You're a business owner. People go, oh, 3 sounds like so much per week. Okay, what else are you doing? Business owners do business activities. Guess what? This is a business activity, especially if you have no clients. Like, what else are you doing? I've told myself this in the past as well, so that's why I can say it with love. Excuse me. So I recommend just like as a starter point, go to 3 a week. And every time you introduce yourself, you are going to say something different. This is also why I have one of my philosophies is like your elevator pitch is like killing your sales because elevator pitches are you being a lead energy. You're going in and trying to steer people to what you think is important rather than following what other people are sharing about what they do, their business, and what they care about and then literally using the words they say out of their mouth and being like, that is what I do and I help with. And guess what? Especially when you're first starting your business, I want you to throw anything along the lines of scalable package out the window. Your first clients are probably going to look like they have very different packages out the bat. But somebody's going to be like, man, you're going to be talking to somebody about repurposing their social media and you are going to say, oh, that's so funny. I help people repurpose social media. And then you're going to be talking to another person and they're going to be talking about how they really just wish that they could have an automation set up between Eventbrite and their email list like I do. And you're going to go, oh, that's so funny. I do automations. And you're going to like, it's not going to look scalable. It's not going to look the same, but it's going to be relevant. It's going to be in follow energy. And that's how you're going to sign 3 clients in 30 days of networking.
Sarah. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. It is so true. We talk a lot on here about info interviews. And in a way, it can be thought of as marketing, but I mean as networking because you're meeting new people and finding out about them. But I say it all the time. In marketing, find out what does your target need, find out what they need and then go sell it to them. Like it's not hard.
Yes.
Like let's keep it super simple to begin with. Follow energy. I never thought about it like that, but that is exactly it. And it's like following and then tailoring to whatever it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. And quite frankly, does go against everything that I have ever been told. So next question is, you said, let's get rid of the elevator pitch. Based on the follow mentality, I totally get it. So how do you, instead of just saying like, yep, I can do that, or yep, I can do that, how do you show value in networking events versus being a like task checker?
Oh, I love this question because all of my clients, they hear me, they learn the philosophy of be the follow, not the lead. And then what ends up happening is they go to networking events for like a week and they're like, man, I just spent the whole time like nodding and agreeing with people. So then we have to swing it back a little bit because just like how salsa is a dance, follow energy and lead energy has to be a dance as well. You're going to go back and forth between them, but you need both. That's the thing. You need both. So, excuse me, I tell my clients, especially I work with at this point like not on purpose, well maybe on purpose because I do a lot of like women only stuff, so maybe on purpose I work with only women. I think especially as women we must get comfortable taking up space and letting our, and this is important, professional expertise take up space. Because so many of my clients, they're wonderful people they're like, everybody wants to be friends with me, but people don't necessarily want to work with me at networking events. And that's because they're taking up space as the friend. They're not allowing their expertise to take up space. So all you have to do is like, as people are talking and sharing, you just like, in my case, like, oh, you just say like, as a marketing coach, I've seen related to that. Or like, all of y'all listening, as an online business manager, here's something that I've seen related to that. And you just share your own professional expertise and thoughts and opinions, not just like, oh my God, I love Avatar. Who's looking forward to the book release on January 30th? Me. Sarah J. Fast. Here.
I love it.
So yes, let your professional expertise take up space at the networking event you attend.
I love that too. And Natalie brought up a great question that I probably should have asked at the very beginning. So, how do you find networking events? But even more importantly, how do you find the right ones?
Oh, okay. This is another one of my favorite questions. This is just so fun. And this is another one where y'all are gonna get mad at me for a second, but I just need you to hear this. So I believe there is no such thing as the capital R right networking event. Because your job, if you want to actually make sales with networking, is to learn how to make what you do relevant to anybody around you. Because even if they're not your client, somebody they know might be. And I see so many people make the mistake where they waste time trying to find the right things as opposed to just going to, like, getting out of their home office, getting out of their house, becoming a part of their community, embedding in their community, and then just like you will meet people everywhere you go. I mean, I've literally made offers to people while floating down the river in San Marcos. I have, um, you know, like it's it's not about where you go. That being said, I always tell my clients as a rule of thumb, it's like like go to something only if you would be thankful that you went, even if you didn't sign a client from it. So like, you know, that's like you don't have to go to something you genuinely think you would hate to go to. Like only go if you'd be happy even if nothing came out of it, or proud of yourself and proud of your growth even if nothing came out of it. So go, but go like once and then decide it wasn't for you. But yeah, that's my take. There's no such thing as a right capital R networking event.
So you said that, I was like, oh, duh, that makes perfect sense because you're right. Like, you have no idea who other people know. So I'm assuming that if that is your secondary goal, right, is to have the people that you met remember who you are and what you do and who you do this for, do you have like a list of, sure, it's not an elevator pitch, but a succinct way to say what you do, what value, and who you do it for? And do you go in with like 3 bullet points? Or how do you make sure that whatever it is that you do is memorable to the other people, even if it's completely not related to what they do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I rarely go in with like 3 bullet points, like perfectly memorized, but I will do this. On my morning walks, I will walk around my neighborhood being the crazy person talking to myself, literally visualizing myself, introducing myself at whatever event I have coming up, you know? And
Yeah.
I tailor it to the event I have coming up. Like if I'm going to like a speed networking thing with like anybody and everyone's gonna be there, I'll practice in my head. Okay, Sarah, like pretend you're introducing yourself to like a fintech founder. I don't know. I don't really work with
Yeah.
fintech founders, but I would still practice introducing myself to that. Practice introducing myself to a solopreneur mom. Okay, and let me
Yeah.
practice. So like just almost like play charades with yourself. You can do it walking around, in the shower, driving. Just practice and trust yourself to like just play with, okay, how would I make this connect for this type of person? Um, because here's the other thing that I love about networking. Like we as humans we've literally evolved for connection. Like it's a part of us. Um, and you don't have to overthink it because that's how that networking is. I always say like networking, making friends, and dating are all the same because it's all about connection. And trust yourself as you just like give yourself little charades like, okay, if I was going to meet the owner of a local coffee shop, how would I share what I do in a way that would be relevant to them? What are they maybe going through that I could connect to? And then try something else. So just practice and rehearse it that way.
You made a very, very good point. This is what I'm hearing you say. The way that you are describing what you do is not the title, it's what you could do for them.
Yes. Right.
So this is a problem that I hear a lot from OBMs. They'll go to a networking event and be like, "I'm an online business manager," and they're like, "Huh?
Mhm.
What's that?" And
Mhm.
like, or they're just confused and they stop there and they're just not listening because they're just thinking of like, wait, what is this acronym? What does that mean? What tips or ideas do you have for people who may be in that scenario where they do want to go out there and introduce themselves, but steer away from being confusing on OBM?
Yeah, so you can still totally say OBM. Like, one of my examples I like to share with people, it's like, which would you well, yeah, like, which would you rather say? Like, I am a professional who helps children understand the world around them in terms of angles, shapes, and numbers. Or would you be like, I'm a math teacher? You know, like, you can totally say what the title is. And people know what an OBM, I mean, people know what a math teacher is more so than an OBM, but don't be afraid. Like, don't just stop there. Okay, honestly, I just always remember the like, old fogey at networking events, there's always at least one who will actually speak for like 7 minutes at length about their like random thing, their app nobody cares about, their like life story, their golf club, whatever. Like, there's always somebody. And I always think, okay, if that person can take up 7 minutes, I can add a few more sentences past, I'm a marketing coach. You can add a few more sentences past, I'm an OBM. And this is a part of like what it means to take up space at a networking event.
I have never thought about it like that. Like, that is such a good point. Like, if he or she, Folky, can take up 7 minutes, I can take up 30 seconds.
Literally, yeah. Yeah.
It's such a good point. Oh my gosh, I love it, I love it, I love it. So let's talk about just some mistakes in networking. What are some just do not do XYZ?
Okay. Okay. So we already talked about the whole like pre-prepared stock elevator pitch thing. So don't have to do that. Um, Another very simple thing, like, hmm, I feel like I need to come up with a better way to teach this, but like, it's okay. I'll just give it a try until I get it right.
Yeah, let's go.
But there isn't like, you don't have to. I always, it's like it's a you focus as opposed to a me focus whenever you are introducing yourself for the first time. Like, I like to use language that's like, when da 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 da, or some of my clients will be going through da 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 da, and I help them da 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 da, as opposed to like, I was a mom looking for things to do, and then I realized I'm very organized and I can help other people stay organized. Like, I can't really reduce it quite down to something as, oh, go ahead, Ashley. Sorry.
Well, what I'm hearing you say is like the other person is the hero. The other person is the point of the story. And it kind of going back to that like follow energy that you were doing, you are the support person. I love that you're saying that because oftentimes we talk about the problem with how we talk about our own products, services, business, etc., is when we're talking to a prospect, we talk to them about like the boat on how they're going to get to the vacation, not like the vacation that they're sitting on the beach and they're drinking the margarita and like they're like, oh, maybe I'll get a floater on the next one. We're not sell. That's what we need to be selling, not the boat has high speed. And I think that's what you're saying. Like they're focused on the wrong thing to really be
Yes.
talking about.
Right. Right. Exactly. Another thing too. Excuse me. Uh, sorry. That was my smoothie for breakfast. Okay. Another thing too that I think people make this mistake, and you don't have to make this mistake, is they do not. They're scared to like actually make an invitation or an offer related to your business. And my clients they ask me all the time. They're always like, "Sarah, how will I know it is the perfect moment? They want me to make the invitation. How will I know? Like, are they gonna blink twice and do like a mating call dance? Like, how will I know?" And okay, like really, my answer to that is, um, first of all, trust yourself because you're probably not the old fogey with no with terrible social skills at the event. Like trust yourself that you have social skills. You're not going to be a jerk in making an invitation, and be willing for them to say no, thank you. That is how you can actually make like an invitation into your business or an invitation to connect further about each other's businesses in a way that is not like gonna be weird. It's not weird. It's never weird when somebody makes an invitation. It's weird when you react a certain way to what they say. It's like I remember one time one of my really good friends he was like my best friend at work several years ago. He asked me out one time, and I was like it was like, ooh, it was a little awkward for a second. But I was like, actually, I don't really think of you that way, but thank you. I'm very flattered. And he was like, cool, no problem. And then, like, next day at work, it was totally back to normal. It was fine. I went to his wedding last year. So it's like,
Totally. And to be really, really, really clear and granular, can you, when you say invitation,
mm,
how do you do that in a smooth way? That's not like, hey, you want to get on a discovery call? Like, how do you do that?
right. Okay. So you want to, at this point, when you're making an invitation, there should be something specific that you have genuinely been talking about and connecting with a person. Like this is not like first thing out of your mouth. This is like, okay, um, for an example, in let's say for my business, I'm thinking of a past example. Um, I was at a networking event and somebody was like, "Yeah, like I am transitioning into entrepreneurship and I really want to like start this wellness course. So that's something that I'm working on." So then I go up to her, we're talking. I'm like, "That's really exciting that you're going to be like starting this wellness course." And then I say, like, I happen to help a lot of people get courses off the ground. It's part of what I do as a business coach. I do it with my one-on-one clients. Like, what? And then now everybody listen carefully. Would it be helpful for you to hop onto a call to talk more about how you can make that happen? And then she could say yes or no. And then what you do, this is also very important. Everybody listen up. If they say, and okay, to be totally honest, fun fact, I've actually never had somebody say no to me when I've made an invitation like that. It actually surprises me as well because I think it's probably because I do it in a way that is like calm, like I do this all the time type of energy, like unattached energy to what they say, and it's relevant. So it's not like I'm a spammer. And then like people are always like, "Oh my god, thank you." And then here's what you do. You take out your phone. You're like, "Which time works for you? Tuesday at 3 or Thursday at 5?" And they just choose one and then you put it in the calendar right then and there and invite them on the spot. And it's in everybody's calendar. So that's how you do it. None of this like, "Oh, let me text you some what time?" Another thing I really teach my clients is like when networking, you want to make it easy for somebody to respond. So,
Totally.
yeah.
Man, that is so good. I have this like what is it called? Unrealistic fear or like a fear that is silly. Um that when I do that, I'm fumbling with my phone and it's taking up time and I'm like, "Oh, what's their name again?" Like so I don't do it, but I should. Like that, oh man, that is so good. Just set it up. Are there any apps that you use that make it even easier?
Oh my gosh. No. I just use Outlook. Maybe I should ask my OBM if she has any
Y
ideas. But yeah, I just use
yeah.
Outlook. I mean, I'm sure you can do something creative with like Calendly or something and
Good
but
point.
all of the
Okay.
OBMs, you guys can get creative with that.
Yeah, good point, good point, good point. Okay. Ladies, OBMs, let's get some workflows going. Um, Amazing. This is also, y'all put in the comments if you have any questions. Um, I can go for days, but this is y'all's time too. Okay, you made such a good point. Like, you are coming away with meetings. How do you get them on the phone? Because that's the hardest thing. Like they said they'll be on the phone, but do you have a no-show? Are there any best practices there to get them actually on the phone?
Yeah, that is a good question. So, of course, I've had no shows. Of
Yeah.
course. That's just going to happen. That's just a part of business. And so, for everyone listening, I really want you to remember that. Like, take a step back and remember that, like, no one person is ever going to make or break your business. You're like a fish swimming in the ocean. Just keep swimming. All you have to do, somebody goes to you, great. Good thing I have a networking thing planned on Thursday. I'm going to go book like 3 more people on my calendar. No problemo. So, like, it's okay. And also, I really do think you minimize the risk of ghosting when you are making that invitation to a call with you on something relevant that you have been talking about. Because, like, who wouldn't? It's a free call about something that somebody has said to you they are working on or is important to them right now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what I'm hearing you say is, because you are so intentional going in and have a strategy going in, the invitation is just kind of like the cherry on top. It's just like the natural next thing, because you have set everything up so perfectly and strategically to offer value. We talk about this all the time. Offer value, offer value, offer value. Like,
Mhm. Yeah,
so, so, so,
exactly.
so important. So speaking of value, you have an OBM, it sounds like.
Sure do.
How how would you explain the value that your OBM brings to you?
Oh my god, okay. So Mikhail already knows this because the first time we met, we I was like, "Oh, you're an OBM? I just got an OBM. Here's why I love her." We just, like, ranted about how much OBMs are amazing. But I was not always this way.
Oh,
I was the biggest, like, "Systems? What is that? OBM? Who cares? Like, OBMs are for bajillionaires. I don't need an OBM." Like, I was totally that person. And I remember what somebody said to me that changed literally everything. And so I'm just gonna share my personal experience. I hope this helps all of you guys. Um, so like so many other coaches who work online, marketing is always like at the forefront of my brain for me personally. Marketing is like I'm always thinking about how I can improve my marketing, how we can do marketing. I teach marketing, I'm always thinking about it. And I was talking to actually my current business coach, and she was like, "Sarah, I was looking at your marketing. You're not bad at marketing. You're actually really good at marketing. You just don't have time to market." And that was like the light bulb that went off in my head. Like, she noticed, she didn't have to say anything related to like systems, anything related to automations, workflows. Like, I don't even care about all those things. My OBM just does them. And then she's like, "It's done." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't know I needed that. Thank you." But the thing that I really cared about was just like, oh, I don't have to improve my skill. I just need time to do the thing. And so and then I also, like my business coach taught me, and I would encourage you all to take up space at networking events and share this with people. It's like your job as a CEO is actually very specific, and it should be like leading the vision for your company and delegating. That could be your life. That's actually the JD on CEO. Like, that's what your job should be as a CEO. And if you're not, if you are not yet there, it's time to like hire somebody who can help you get there. And another thing too you could talk about is like there's such a range of price points. This doesn't have to be a full-time employee. Obviously, you guys know that, but most people don't. Like, we're not talking full-time employee. We're talking contract work at a variety of price points, so it's more accessible than you think. So that's kind of the thing that like switched the light bulb off in my head. I know in my space and online coaching, like here's another big conversation that's relevant that you guys can really like tie into your conversations as you go about networking. Client results, client outcomes, customer satisfaction is a huge conversation coming up, specifically in the online coaching space and really in the online business world more broadly. Because there's a lot of people out here who are getting exposed for basically delivering like nada to the people who
Snake
pay.
oil. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, if you don't want to be that person, you need to a have like you need to be able to track the results your clients are actually getting. That's a system. You need to be able to deliver what people purchased on time and in a way that's easy to access. That's a system. And like, just and anything related to helping people, like, hey, do you want to be a business owner who delivers on what you said you would? Like, you don't have to spend all your time getting caught up in the weeds on that. Like, I will help. I will set up things to make that happen automatically. And you can just be over here helping people like get amazing outcomes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
I love this so much. I have this conversation at least 3 times a day with a like online coach, online CEO who desperately needs an OBM, and that's what they say over and over and over again. It's like, what if poof, it just happened? Like all my systems,
Yeah.
all my processing, all my tech, it just happened and I had no idea. Someone said this and I loved it. And I think that this is pretty applicable to OBMs too. You don't clap when the Wi-Fi's on. You don't clap for the Wi-Fi. Like the
Mhm.
Wi-Fi is just supposed to be on. You're supposed to just like you notice when it's not on. It's kind of like that with OBMs. Like you notice when your systems aren't working. So your value is to keep your CEO in the front seat thinking about like moving forward that vision, all of those things, growth, 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 not like, oh my God, my Kajabi just imploded.
Right. Right. And to speak to that as well, like I highly encourage you as you practice and rehearse like how you share what you do and take up space and all that, practice anticipating the hesitations or questions people have in their mind and build that into how you communicate what you do. For example, everybody's probably thinking, well, I can't afford it. Everybody's thinking, well, that would be really nice to have later when I make more money. But, and like, this is something that my coach like taught me when I first hired my OBM is like, well, how could you make your OBM pay for themselves? So like, I highly recommend all y'all like like talk about that abundantly and often in conversations. Like, I like here's what we do, la la la, and then I love how people think OBMs are just gonna help me keep the lights on, but really, I as an OBM want to make sure that I get an ROI for my client so that I pay for myself and more. So like now you're addressing the hesitation.
Yes, yes, yes. So for people who don't know, when you are a Prowess OBM, so gone through our training and matched with a client, from when the scope of work is created to when it's time to re-sign that contract, we are helping them build a ROI document for sure, but like mini case studies. Then they can then go use as their asset to go create their funnel or whatever that looks like. But more importantly, it's that proof that you were talking about. And it's so, so, so key. And I love that you brought that up because as a CEO, yes, I'm constantly thinking about ROI, ROI, ROI. And my time is my most expensive asset. Point
Mhm.
blank.
Mhm.
Point blank.
Yeah.
Love this. All right, Sarah, I have already taken up so much of your time. This has been incredible. Is there anything else you would like to leave our audience with?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Anything else? Excuse me. Okay, I will say, because online networking. For everybody who's like, excuse me, but I live in a small town, or like there aren't a ton of networking events around me, like, can I still use networking as part of my strategy? Excuse me. Yes, you absolutely can still network. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can get creative with networking online that are not going to be cold DMing, because like I don't do cold DMs. I've never taught cold DMs, but it is going to just kind of look like being really thoughtful about follow-ups, and just kind of similar to being like an engaged plugged in person in your IRL community. You can be an engaged plugged in person in your online communities too. So if anybody's wondering, can I still use networking as a marketing strategy if I do it online? Yes, you can.
Oh, amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Sarah, where can everyone find you?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at Sarah Klein Coaching. You can find me in your email inbox if you sign up for my email list at sarahkleincoaching.com. Let's see what else. Ooh, I am teaching a class coming up on February 13th online called Monetize Offline Networking as a Creative Entrepreneur. So, sorry, y'all. If you want to come to that, like, just go to my website, sarahkleincoaching.com. Oh, wait. Do we have the masterclass? Maybe go to my Instagram link in bio. Go to my Instagram link in bio and sign up there, or just message me and I'll send you the link. And yeah, that's how you can find me, keep up with me. I can't wait to see y'all in my various communities. Oh yes, and I have a TikTok at Sarah Klein Coaching too.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been amazing. Y'all, as always, so good to chat with you on this Wednesday and bring you as much value as possible. Let us know what other types of topics you want to hear about. And then also, reminder for everyone, we are doing our free masterclass next week, starting January 22nd through the 26th, where you're going to walk away with a blueprint on how to fast track your career as an online business manager. And this is good for if you're like, hey, I just heard about this OBM thing. I don't really know what to do. Or if you're like, oh, I already have a client or two, but I really need to get this going. You're going to take away a lot. I promise. All right. Thank you for putting in the link. And y'all, see you on Monday at the masterclass. Bye.